If you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to explain everything you will ever need to know about every type of fair value gap to give you full confidence so that you can use these as a confluence every time you enter a trade. Okay, so let's dive straight in. The first thing we want to look at is what actually is a fair value gap and how do we identify it on the charts. So let's say we've got three bullish candles here, then the first thing we're going to notice is we're going to look at the wicks of the first and the third candle. This top wick finishes here for a bullish fair value gap, and the bottom wick of the third finishes here. So if I grab a rectangle here, then we can draw from the top wick of the first candle to the bottom wick of the third candle. And this space in between here is where price has moved with no wicks either side. This is what we call an imbalance or a fair value gap. This is because price has moved up so quickly in this specific example that we have this space in between, and we call this a fair value gap because it's an imbalance in the charts where we expect price to come back to. So moving forwards from this, what we would expect is for price to eventually keep going up and then come down into this point and react off of it. Now if we look at sells, this is the exact same scenario. So if price is moving downwards and we have a gap again here, we look at three candles and the first bottom wick with the third top wick, there is a space in between. So here, if I grab another rectangle, we can draw from the bottom wick of the first candle to the top wick of the third. And this space in between is our fair value gap or our imbalance. Again, we can expect price from here to move downwards and then come back up, respect this area and continue to move. And this is really useful because you can use this when you're looking for entries on your trades. So moving on to my first point about fair value gaps, the first thing I want to mention is you never want to use a fair value gap that has already been touched. And what I mean by this is if I draw this fair value gap out here that we can see, so I've gone from the top of the first wick to the bottom of the third wick here to mark this fair value gap. As we can see here, I'll zoom in, price has already touched this fair value gap and moved. So this would no longer be a valid fair value gap. If I play price forward, we can see the price came through again and completely wiped it, and price most likely will come back down and through. There we go. So just to show you, you never want to use a fair value gap that has already been touched before because it's most likely no longer going to be valid. Now this works exactly the same with bearish fair value gaps. So as you can see here, we've got a fair value gap here from the bottom of this wick to the top of this third wick. So this space here is a fair value gap. As you can see here, we've already tapped it here and we've already tapped it here. So because of this, you don't want to use this fair value gap. And if I play price forwards, we can see that sometimes the price will still play out how we want it to, but we would never consider this a good fair value gap to use because it's already been touched 1, 2 times. And in this case, we touched it 3 times. However, even though it's still gone in the direction we want it to, we're not going to consider this a good fair value gap to use. Now moving on to point number 2, I want to explain when it comes to looking at fair value gaps. In some cases, you're going to come across points like this where we have multiple fair value gaps in a huge move. So as you can see here, I'll mark them all out for you now. We have 1, 2, 3 fair value gaps here, and we also have a 4th there at the bottom. And you'll probably want to know, if this is the case, how do you pick the best possible fair value gap to enter? Because with this many fair value gaps on a chart, it can be very confusing to understand which is the best fair value gap to use to enter. And the way we do this, in a bearish example like this, is we take our tool called the Gann box. And if you mark from the high to the low of the move, for this bearish example, we want to pick the fair value gaps in the best area of price possible. So because we're in a bearish market and price is moving downwards here, anything above this 50% line is going to be in a premium area, which is good for us because we want the most premium fair value gaps to react off so we can get the best entry price for sells. So anything in this top half here is considered a good fair value gap when looking for sells. And if I just play price forwards here, we can see that we've completely mitigated these first 2 fair value gaps and they're no longer useful. And if I play forwards, again, continuing, we've gone through this fair value gap. So as we can see here, if I drag this fair value gap out, with this being the most premium fair value gap out of the series of 4 here, this has been the most respected and the rest have been mitigated. Because of this, we only ever want to look for the most premium fair value gaps in the top half of this 50% zone. Now we'll move on to a bullish example just so you can see what that's like. So as you can see here, I've marked out 4 fair value gaps in this bullish uptrend right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same, draw our Gann box out from the low all the way up to the high of this move and drag it along. And we can see here that in this case, we want to look for the most discounted fair value gaps. We want to look in the lower half here because these are going to be better areas for price for us to come down, enter into, we get a better entry point for our buys and we can move further upwards. So here, the lower the fair value gap, the better the entry. I'll play price forwards now just so we can see what that looks like, but we want to enter off any of these 3 fair value gaps, not off this top one. So if I play price forward here, we can see the price will come down, and there we go. If I drag these all out, we've reacted off that second lowest fair value gap. So sometimes it might not always be the lowest or the highest in the case of sales fair value gap. However, as long as we're in this lower area for buys, these are the best fair value gaps to enter off. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at a larger series of fair value gaps. I just want to add quickly as well, if you haven't already, there is a free playbook in the description. It's completely free. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can go and grab that now in the description. Okay, now moving on to point number 3. What you want to do is you want to combine fair value gaps on different time frames to strengthen your entry and get the most pinpoint entry point you can possibly get. So looking at this example here, we're on the 4 hour, as you can see at the top, and I've marked out this fair value gap right here. So because we're on the 4 hour, we have quite a wide fair value gap. Now what we can do with this is we can drop down to a time frame like the 15 minute and find a fair value gap within this fair value gap to get the best, most pinpoint entry possible. Now I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so now we're on the 15 minute and we've still got this 4 hour fair value gap marked out. And within this 4 hour fair value gap, we can see a large 15 minute fair value gap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another fair value gap box here on this one. And if we drag this along, then we can use this to get a sniper entry. We've improved our confluence here because we now have multiple fair value gaps lining up within different time frames to get us the best entry possible. Now that I've dragged our 15 minute fair value gap along, we can see that price came into our 4 hour fair value gap and it perfectly tapped our 15 minute fair value gap here. What this is going to do is give us that extra strength in these fair value gaps and get us the best entries possible, as you can see. So if I was to enter a sell off this position, we've almost got the best possible entry price we can, and it's improved our confluence because we've got multiple fair value gaps stacking up on smaller time frames from the larger one. Okay, so the next point I want to go over is how we can use liquidity sweeps with fair value gaps. Now this seems confusing, but it's very, very simple. As you can see here with price, we have been moving upwards and then we've started to move downwards here. So with this, we're looking for sells here now that price is moving downwards, and the last low that we've broke is here. Now a liquidity sweep is when price just takes lows like this or takes highs, for example. Now what we need to know is whether it is just a quick liquidity sweep or whether price is going to continue moving in that direction. And we can use this to our advantage when it comes to looking at fair value gaps. So the example I want to show you here is we've had a full candle close on this candle below that low. Because of that strength moving downwards, we can now use this fair value gap comfortably to our advantage because we know that price is showing strong momentum of moving downwards because it's closed with a full candle close below this last low, and also including this one if you really wanted to. So if I play price forwards from here, we can see that this fair value gap has been respected here and price will continue to move in the direction that we want it to. Okay, so I've marked out the other example. As you can see here, we have our fair value gap marked out on the charts and we want to know whether this is a good fair value gap to use or not. So we have this low that is currently here and we want price to close with a full candle close through to know that price is still moving downwards, and if it does come back, it will tap and continue moving away. As you can see here, we come down and we only wick this low. So what we would consider this to be is a liquidity sweep. This here is not a strong enough close below that low for us to think that price is going to continue to move down. It's just swept with the wick and right now it's continuing to move up. Because of this, we won't take a trade off this fair value gap and let price move down because price is most likely just going to continue and go straight through. As you can see here, if I play price forwards, as we come up to it, we completely mitigate this fair value gap and we go straight through it. So this is no longer a valid fair value gap, and that is because we've had this liquidity sweep here and we've only whipped through the low. We haven't full body closed, so price wanted to change direction because it's taken all of the liquidity down here anyway. So this segues into my final point perfectly. What I want to talk about here is inverse fair value gaps. Now an inverse fair value gap looks exactly like this. This is when a candle closes completely through a fair value gap. This shows us a clear indication that price is wanting to move in this direction because we've completely mitigated this area. So bearing that in mind, we can use this along with many other confluences, of course, to actually help us look for buys. This is something you can use to your advantage to help you look for trades in the opposite direction. So if a fair value gap becomes mitigated, as long as it aligns with all of your other confluences, you can use this to your advantage. So what you would do in this case is place a buy here with your stop loss below the lows, and your take profits can be further up. And what we can do here is play the trade through and see that because we've had this confluence now, price will move in our direction and it will eventually come and hit our take profits perfectly and continue to move up. I could have had this lot higher for whatever reason, but this is also a strong confluence. So if you see a fair value gap become completely mitigated because you've had a candle close through it like this, we can call that an inverse fair value gap. And if you stack this with other confluences, you can use it to place positions like this and actually get yourself some extra profits. So always keep this in mind when looking for it. Inverse fair value gaps can be extremely strong if you use them correctly. So there's my top 5 points when it comes to understanding and looking at fair value gaps. Hopefully this video has helped you to understand how you can identify a fair value gap, bullish or bearish, what different types of fair value gaps there are, and also how to use them to your advantage to find the best fair value gaps to gain that extra edge in the markets. Now, just before you go, I do want to remind you there is a completely free playbook in the description that you guys can have access to for completely free. It's up to you. But that's everything for this video. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll reply to every single one that I can. And I'll see you in the next video.